Xander was holding their newborn baby boy, but his eyes were locked on the wedding ring sitting on the trash can lid. The next second, he ran out of the room like a maniac. Claire, the whole hallway was empty. Then a man in a suit walked up to him. He said just one thing: "You are divorced." And it didn't stop there. The house, the cars, the savings, all of it had already been taken back by Claire. Then the nurse handed over an $8,000 unpaid hospital bill. On the hospital bed, Grace froze. Without Claire covering the bill, she and the baby couldn't even leave the hospital. But Xander could believe it. Was she really gone for good? Back to the day before, Claire had just finished a year of training overseas and returned to the hospital, and the second she walked in, she saw her husband, Xander, taking Grace to a prenatal checkup. He didn't look guilty at all. Instead, he explained that Grace had late-stage cancer. All she ever wanted in life was to have a baby. They had only done IVF. Nothing crossed the line. He even told Claire to relax. After all, the baby was still part of the family. His parents were right there too, backing him up. They said Claire made good money, so of course, she should pay for the kid. Either way, it is still a Chin family baby. Grace kept her head down and played the helpless one. She said she only hid the pregnancy because she didn't want to disturb the couple. Everyone was crowding around the pregnant woman. Only Claire was standing there. She didn't argue. She just gave a small nod. I'll take the baby. The whole Chin family instantly relaxed. They thought Claire had backed down, but nobody noticed that the second she turned around, Claire called her boss. She volunteered for a high-risk overseas assignment with Doctors Without Borders. That was her way out. A few days later, the father-in-law had a problem during a follow-up after heart surgery. The whole family immediately assumed Grace had used her connections to bring in a top doctor. The father-in-law even called Claire out in front of everyone, saying she was narrow-minded and deliberately trying to cause problems in the marriage. Claire didn't say a word, because the one who really reached out to the specialist was her. She had contacted Professor Wu at Peking Union Medical College Hospital in private and handled everything for the second surgery. But when Xander saw the surgeon, he still thanked Grace first. He didn't even notice the disappointment in Claire's eyes getting colder and colder. After that, Claire answered a work call right in front of the family. She mentioned a long-term overseas posting. When the parents heard the salary, they didn't try to stop her. Instead, they started doing the math. Was the monthly money enough to raise the baby? The father-in-law even said flat out that if Claire could keep making money, he would already pushed Xander to divorce her. That was it for Claire. She announced right there that she was quitting. The Chin family freaked out instantly. Without that high-paying chief doctor salary, their daily expenses and the baby's care would all be gone. Seeing how upset they were, Claire added one more line on purpose. She said she was moving to a private hospital where she'd make double. She'd even buy a villa and hire a full-time nanny with a car. Grace and the parents could move in too. One sentence, and everybody went from angry to smiling. They surrounded her and kept calling her thoughtful and capable. They walked right into it. Then the hospital announced they were taking a full family photo before the birth. Xander pushed Claire aside right away. He said Grace should be the one in the picture. Claire just stood quietly in the corner and watched the family of three photo. Soon after, Grace went into early labor with complications and was rushed into the delivery room. Xander panicked and grabbed Claire, begging her to go in as the department chief and cover the surgery. Claire watched for a long time before she finally walked in. She successfully delivered a baby boy. The whole Chin family crowded around the newborn and celebrated. Then they turned around to look for Claire, but the hallway was already empty. Right on time, the representative showed up and announced the divorce-related asset transfer and that $8,000 hospital bill that killed whatever fantasy they had left. Xander rushed home no matter what. On the table, he saw a candlelit dinner, a luxury car key, and the deed to a villa. He thought Claire was just throwing a fit and getting ready to make it up to the family, but then Claire directly tore up the property deed. The expressions on the Chin family's faces changed in an instant. The father-in-law got so worked up he collapsed from a heart attack. Everyone turned around and blamed Claire for being cruel. Xander rushed over and grabbed her arm, demanding an explanation. Claire shook him off. "My assets are mine to deal with. Nobody else gets a say." Then a black car pulled up outside. The representative stepped out and respectfully called her, "Young lady." That was when the Chin family finally realized Claire had planned everything long ago. They immediately changed their tune and begged her to keep sending money. Grace also pretended to talk sense into her and told her to think about the baby and keep the family together. Xander even dropped to his knees, crying and apologizing. He tried to use the newborn baby to make her stay, but Claire just said it flatly. They were already divorced, and the child had nothing to do with her. The car drove off, leaving the Chin family completely broken. Without Claire covering for them, they had to face the $8,000 bill, plus every single cost for the baby and the elderly from here on out. No Claire to bail them out. How long can they last now?